Standard 5th Subject English Unit 3 Poem number 17 On the Water. So in this poem the poet is talking about the nature. He describes every corner of the nature. He has very beautifully described the nature while he was riding on the boat. So now I am going to read the poem. Poem number 17 On the Water. In our little boat to glide on the water blue and white. While the sky is smooth and bright, what could give us more delight? See the ripples how they run, twinkling brightly in the sun. While reflected, we can see shadows of each hill and tree. See the lilies round and large. See the lilies round and large, floating near the reedy marge, where the bulrush has its place and the heavy water maze. See the great green dragonfly and the swallows skimming by. See the fishes spring and gleam ere they splash into the stream. See the bright kingfisher too, dart a gleam of green and blue. These are all around our boat on the water whilst we float. So this was the description of every corner of the nature while the poet was riding on the boat. Now I will explain each stanza with the pictures. So let us read each stanza with the meanings. So now the first stanza. In our little boat to glide on the water blue and white. While the sky is smooth and bright, what could give us more delight? Now here the poet is explaining that when he was riding on the boat, so the it was moving smooth and with continuous motion, and the water was blue and white. The sky was clear. There was not a single cloud in the sky. So, what more happiness can it give? Because the nature was very beautiful. So he was feeling very happy while riding on the boat. In the next stanza, he says, see the ripples how they run, twinkling brightly in the sun. While reflected, we can see shadows of each hill and tree. So now he's saying about the ripples. The ripples, that is the waves, the small waves form on the river. When the water of the river is flowing fast, there are ripples forming on the river. So they are running and it is twinkling. Twinkling means shining brightly due to the sun. The reflection of the sun is formed on the water, on the river, and so the ripples of the water is shining brightly, and with on it there are the shadows of each hill and tree. When the sun is shining on the water, the reflection of the sun is fall on the water, that is the river. The shadows are formed of each hill and tree. Reflected means show an image. And the next stanza. See the lilies round and large, floating near the reedy marge, where the bulrush has its place and the heavy water maze. Now see the lilies, he is telling us, see the lilies. You can see here the picture, the white flowers growing along the edge of the river. This is called the edge of the river. So lilies are growing along the edge of the river. Reedy marge means the edge of the river where the tall grass are grown and where the bulrush has its place. The bulrush means the wetland. The wetland is formed along the edge of the river, and water maze and the heavy water maze. A lot of small grass-like plants are grown along the edge of the river. That's why you cannot see the bulrush. That is the wetland, because on the wetland you can see the heavy green grass growing along the edge of the river. You cannot see here the land. because it is green, because the grasses are grown along the edge of the river. So this is the explanation of the second stanza. You can see here the meanings. Ready march means water's edge where tall grass grow. Bulrush, wetland. Water means grass like plant. In the third stanza, see the great green dragonfly and the shallows skimming by. See the fishes spring and gleam ere they splash into the stream. Now it's saying, see the great green dragonfly, the dragonfly, that is the insects which has got big wings. They are also flying along the river, on the river. And the shallow skimming by. Shallow is the bird which flows on, which are mostly found along the river, and these shallows are skimming by. Skimming by means lightly touching the water and flying away. So shallow skimming by. See the fishes spring and gleam. The fishes also, they just move and jump out of the water, and they also shine, and they again splash into the stream. They again splash. Splash means they just goes dive into the water, and a splash sound is formed. A sound is formed when we throw any stone in the water from far away place. You will hear some splash sound on it. So in this way, the fish also, they come out of the water and again they splash into the stream. They just jump back into the water. So splash sound is formed on the water. So in this way, the poet is describing about the insects, the birds, and the fish. Now the next stanza, see the bright kingfisher too, dart a gleam of green and blue. These are all around our boat, on the water whilst we float. Now in the last stanza he says, the see the bright kingfisher. We can see the bright kingfisher also on the trees, and they are also flying. Dart means moving suddenly and rapidly. Suddenly they are coming out of the tree and flying away with the colors green and blue. Their bodies are covered with the colors, that is, the wings are the colors green and blue. So these are all around our boat. So all this thing, the poet is saying, I can see all this thing, that is the insect, the birds, the fishes, the bright kingfisher. He can see all these things while he was riding on the boat, on the water, whilst we float. Whilst means while we float. So while he was flowing on the water, he could see all these things. So this was the explanation of the poem. Now the things to do. First is answer the following question. List the insects, birds, trees, and plants mentioned in the poem. So I have given you the answer. Insect is the great green dragonfly. Birds, swallow, kingfisher. Trees and plants, bulrush, reedy march, water miss. So these are the trees and plants. Then list the rhyming words in the poem. So the rhyming words are A-A-B-B, 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 and B-B. So while reading the poem, you can find out this rhyming words. Write what the following do with the help of the poem. First one, ripples. What they do, they twinkle brightly in the sun. Lilies floating near the reedy marge. Shallows skimming by, means they are lightly touching the water and flying away. Fishes spring and gleam and splash into the stream. The fishes, they just spring and gleam, that is the shining, and splash into the stream. Kingfisher, they move suddenly with green and blue color. So this was the description of the things which the poet had described in the poem. That is the ripples, lilies, shallows, and the kingfishers. fishes and the kingfisher. Next question is write what the poet is doing. Does the poet like the experience? Write the line which tell us about it. So what does the poet doing? The poet is riding on the boat and write the line which tell us about it. What does the poet experience while riding on the boat? So this is the experience which we feel when the poet is riding on the boat. In our little boat to glide on the water blue and white, while the sky is smooth and bright, what could give us more delight? So he is feeling happiness. So these are the lines which show the poet is feeling. The poet is happy while riding on the boat. So I suggest these lines the poet experienced while riding on the boat. So this line show the experience of the poet while riding on the boat. So this was the poem, the explanation of the poem with the question answers. If you like the poem, if you like the video, please subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.